Hi people. Hi everybody, 3 viewers. As y'all know, I'll be going live, giving my messages out. And tonight, or this evening, I actually got a real message for everybody. Like the ones I've been giving. Now before I start this message, I have to let y'all know why I feel like God put this on my heart today to begin with. Because, lately, he's been having me stretch out Exodus and, what happened in the days of Moses with the Egyptians and with the Israelites. If y'all ain't paying attention now today, we like to say a lot that we are the Hebrew Israelites. We're the real Hebrew Israelites because, when back in the days, we were slaves and they had us in slaves and they had us in the shackles. So we like to say that now today that we don't know our power because we don't know our power like that as black people. We like to say that we're the Hebrew Israelites. We're the real Hebrew Israelites. So when we go to Israel, they pay you to leave. They don't want you to be there because it's like you trying to return back to your natural habitat. Well, not habitat because that's for animals, but where you originally come from. I'm not trying to touch my hair like that, but the braids are heavy, so they fall in my face a lot. So y'all gonna see me do this a lot through the video. But basically, we call ourselves the Hebrew Israelites. So who do you think the Pharaoh would be? Who do you think the Egyptians would be? During the 10 plagues, who do you think it would be, So that's to start off the message. But the message really is deaf to the ears and blind to the eyes, so they do not see. Deaf to the ears because they do not want to, and so they are not able to. They believe that they're not able to. Blind to the eyes because they do not want to see, and so they do not see, and they believe they cannot see. But if they were to see and hear, they would follow, and they would turn away from their ways. God is coming for all is what is His. Time is of the essence, for we do not know the hour. So that's why it's best to hide the word of God in your heart so that you may know who comes in His name. Because it's a lot of times where we go and we pray and we do everything we're supposed to be doing, but then once we step out that door, we're not even trusting in everything we were just doing in our homes, and we're leaning on our own understanding, and then we start thinking like, well, I'm strong, I can do this on my own, I don't need nobody, like I've been in my home alone, I can go out there and do it alone. Well, not really, especially if we're supposed to be in unity. Learn to go to work with your weakness, like literally, that don't mean fight against your weakness or, go to battle with yourself, nothing like that, no. Learn to go to work with your weakness through Jesus, because Jesus is with you through your weakness. Because within weakness, there's strength. Wherever you're weak at, you got to look at it like, well, I'm only weak here because I ran from this problem. I'm only weak here because I don't want to face this problem. If you learn to face your problem instead of running from it and learning to mature in it instead of claiming your maturity, because age don't bring maturity, honestly. You got to allow for that maturity to flow through you and not fight against it. So work with the power. Work with your weakness so that understand that power that's in your weakness. Because, when God was here, He didn't go for the high and mighty people who thought they were high, sitting up high. No, He went for people who were hurt. He went for people who were weak. He went for the people who were less fortunate. Because with people who are weak, God could make a miracle in. You feel me? He don't need people who think they're perfect. He needs imperfect. Someone who knows that they can't do it alone and that they need to be together in unity. Because don't you know pretending to be strong is actually a form of weakness? You don't want to fake like something. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be who you are. You don't want to fake like you're strong, but really you're weak right now, because when you really are strong, people gonna look at you like you're weak, and when you really are weak, people gonna look at you like you're supposed to be strong, and you will wonder why. You ever hear that song, Better Days by Leandra? When she go, it's only a season, and then she go, I know people, they don't see the hurt you feel inside, and she say, people smiling, cause everything will be alright. That's what she means by that. When you allow yourself to feel, then you allow yourself to understand. You allow yourself to embrace. When you allow yourself to feel, you're no longer fighting against what actually needs to be happening. Your natural process. So when you work with weakness and you embrace that, and you allow that, and you allow what you're embracing to flow through you, you're not fighting against it. You're actually working with it, and you're allowing Jesus to show you what real power is. You're allowing him to show you what real strength is, because when you're fighting, you're not really doing it. He's fighting for you, because the battle's not yours. The battle's his. But if you surrender and you turn away from them ways and you allow him to come through and fight for you, you will conquer and you will make it and you will win. But deaf to the eyes and blind to the deaf to the ears and blind to the eyes, so they do not hear and they do not see because they do not want to. But if they did want to, if they really did want to, you know, they'd have to understand that it takes a village. Honestly, you have to understand that you can't do it alone. You can't be by yourself. You can't be like, oh, well, I'm 1 out of 1,000, or no. Like, you can't be like that. You have to be able to take constructive criticism. You got to be able to take what people say, but don't let it change your heart, though. Don't let it make your heart ugly. Like, honestly, you got to be able to take what people are saying and use it to make the best of you, not the worst of you. Because we say it takes a village. It takes a village. Well, if it take a village, then that means you're supposed to be able to take constructive criticism. You're supposed to be able to work with everybody else. When you go and apply for a job, they ask you what are your qualities. They ask you, and they ask like, can you work? Are you able to work with people? Are you able to be in big groups? Are you able to do these things? When you apply, I mean, some of us lie and we say, yeah, no. Knowing we cannot work with people, knowing that we're not group people. Some of us lie, or some of us be honest and we say, yes, I'm a group person. I could work with people. That's the same thing as it being a village. Some parents, because I don't have kids, so I can't say this, but I do have brothers and sisters. Some parents, when they send their kids out there in the world, they teach them what they teach them, and send them out there in the world, and sometimes their kids don't follow what you teach them, or sometimes the kids don't get taught nothing at all, so they go out there in this world and they do what they do, and then when there's somebody at like an elder, and they let them know, no, you don't do this, this is what's right, this is what's wrong. The kid goes back and they tell the parents what's going on, and the parent want to bite back at the elder that was teaching the kid what was right and what was wrong. You can't do that, because honestly it takes a village. We're supposed to be in unity. I mean, and if you were doing the right things that you were supposed to do, not to talk down on nobody, just honestly saying if you were doing the right things you were supposed to do, then your kid would know what to and what not to be doing out there. They will understand. That means like providing the proper things that they need in their homes, like honestly, you know. And that's starting off of that. That's anybody in the Bible: Moses, Abraham, King David, Noah, Jonah, Jeremiah, Joshua. That's anybody that God gave a mission. And I say Abraham mainly because he's in the beginning of the Bible. When he got the task that he got given, God told him go away from basically he had to go away from his hometown. He had to go away from everything that he knew. He had to go away from everything, because where he grew up at, it was wicked. Where he was from, where he had been, just like Jesus, it was not good. So he couldn't receive the word that he needed to receive where he was at. So he told him, go away, take your family and go away. Abraham did go away, but he didn't go away alone. Now, sometimes when you get blessings, it's not meant for everybody. He's been having me say this for the past few days. Like, and I understand. I understand. Like, there's some people who have understood, and there's some people who don't. So he's gonna keep flowing it through me, and keep flowing it through me. He's gonna flow it through the next person if y'all listen to me, and through the next person if y'all listen to them. It's just gonna keep happening until y'all understand. So Abraham didn't understand that he had to leave everybody behind. He took his family, and he also took somebody else with him. Once he took the other person with him, that other person, when he took Lot with him, they didn't even mention Lot's wife. They mentioned Lot's wife later on down the line. And Lot ended up leaving anyways, because he's telling Abraham, like, look, I understand that you following God and you on the mission and all of that, but it's not going to be enough space for the both of us. Like, look, this is not finna work. You feel me? Me and my wife and my kids, it's not working for us. So we finna go back over here this way, you know? Lot go back where he going. And don't mind me, this is how I speak. You feel me? I'm not perfect, so I'm going to speak with my character and my personality, you feel me? But I am reading off of something that's written. I, pray over my word, and it's straight out of the Bible, you feel me? But I'm going to speak with my character, always, There's many videos, and there's also more people who go live who do this. If I'm not the person that fits you, you're going to get the same message, though. So Lot went away, and he went to the place that he went, and he took his wife in. And it wasn't even really Lot who wanted to do it. It was his wife who was in his ear. So when Lot would go away from Abraham, his wife would be in his ear. See, and that's the thing too. But I'm going to get on that later because it's in this message. So Lot goes to the place, and God gives Abraham a message, and he tells Abraham that he's going to make that city fall. He's going to burn that city down. So Abraham prays to God, and he asks him, he says, so if there were at least 10 men righteous in there, will you burn the whole city down? Or will you spare the city because of the 10 men? So he told him if it were 10, if he found 10 men in that city, then he would spare the whole city. He asked him again, and the number just keep getting lower and lower. So he told him, if I find even just one righteous man in that city, then the whole city will be spared. But if I don't find anything at all, the whole city is getting burnt down because they have not been doing any good at all. So he sent his angels to the city, and the city got what they deserved, and Lot was the only person who got saved out of that city, to be exact. But Lot's wife did not get saved out of the city because they were directed not to look back. See, when you're directed not to look back from something, you need to understand that God not going to tell you not to do something that is, he's telling you not to do it because it's going to hinder you. If you don't listen to him and you disobey him and you be rebellious and you go do what he's telling you not to do, you're going to be like Lot's wife. You're going to turn to salt. You're going to perish. You're not going to survive. You're not going to make it because life is in him. Do you understand? Like, if you go and you disobey what he's saying, you're not going to be like the Israelites who made it through the still waters. You're not going to be like them. You're going to be like the Egyptians who was drowned after Moses turned around and put the staff in the water and he saw them drowned in the water. You're not going to be like them. You're going to be like Pharaoh with no army and alone by yourself because you wouldn't allow your heart to stay soft when it became soft. You wanted it to become hard and soft and then hard and then soft. Don't be lukewarm. Don't be lukewarm. Honestly, obey. And it's in everything. It's in everything. Just like Noah. Just like Jonah. And when in the book of Jonah, with Jonah, God gave Jonah a whole message to give, and Jonah told God no. And he ran away from God. Don't you know you can't run away from God even if you went to hell? There's no way you can go and not be with God. Anywhere you go on this earth, God's going to be there with you. Honestly, you can't even go to hell without God being there. Not Jesus, not the Holy Ghost. They're all going to be there with you. You can't not go anywhere. Jonah was in the whale's belly for 3 days straight. He started off he ran off on somebody's boat. That's where he started off at. And they're praying to their gods, and their gods not answering them. So they go and tell Jonah, because Jonah sleep on the boat. But he wasn't asleep on the boat for the reason that Jesus was asleep on the boat. Jonah sleep on the boat because he was trying to run from something. Jesus was asleep on the boat because he knew already what it was. He knew that peace was still, and peace was with him. So he knew. That's why he was sleeping. Jonah was sleeping because he was trying to run from something. They went down into that boat, and they woke Jonah up, and they told him, pray to your God, because your God is angry with us. Pray to your God. He told them, throw me overboard. He told them why. He told them because he was running from his God. Because his God had gave him a message to go preach the gospel to a city that he felt like didn't deserve it. And I'm going to be so honest with you. I've had that happen to me before. Remember, I was on here just a couple of days ago and I was giving my testimony out and how I was so fearful and so scared. But I'm here now because I had to experience that. Not only through dreams, but in reality, I had to experience that. And when Jonah was in that belly's well, he was crying for 3 days straight. And God heard him every time, but he didn't answer him when Jonah wanted him to. He answered when he wanted to answer, when God wanted to. Because at this point, you wasn't obedient and you didn't answer the first time when I gave it to you and you wanted it. Honestly, because Jonah had been praying for something. Honestly, he had been doing everything he needed to be doing, but God gave him a task, and his task was to go preach the gospel to this city, because the city had been doing bad, and if he had preached the gospel to the city, they can be redeemed, and they can have God, and they wouldn't get punished. But Jonah and where he come from, they believe that they should be punished. Remember, it takes a village. And people don't understand that the main thing about it taking the village is you need to love people, even those that you hate. Because it's in the 10 Commandments. And if y'all gonna follow anything, y'all need to follow the 10 Commandments. Y'all need to understand. And if you don't follow these 10 Commandments every day, all day, you're not perfect. So you shouldn't be judging nobody. Like, literally, you're not perfect. You shouldn't be judging nobody. Honestly. Like, and us alone, like, honestly, if we just follow those commandments, we would start to see the works of God more and more. We would start to see the image of God more and more in ourselves and in other people, honestly. And it's just simple. Don't put any gods before him. Don't put no foreign gods before our God. You shall not take his name in vain, the Lord God name in vain. Don't take his name in vain. You feel me? Don't keep the Sabbath day holy. Honor thy mother and father, and you shall get long days. You shall not kill. You should not commit adultery. You should not steal. You should not bear false witness against thy neighbor. You shouldn't. You should not covet. You should not covet thou neighbor's wife, and you should not covet thou neighbor's goods. If you don't follow any one of these, if you don't follow all of these every day, you shouldn't be judging nobody because you're not perfect. You should be loving and forgiving and understanding like Jesus did for you and like he was for you. You shouldn't be like, oh, well, they're thieves, or oh, they do this, or oh, they do that. Don't you know ain't nothing good in gossiping? At all. Ain't nothing good in gossiping. And I always let this word get to me and I just be going on and on and on. But I see everybody, Shakid, K Chanel, Tyler Fold, Tonek, Kia. I see all of y'all. I see everybody. Tug. I see y'all. Quisha, Monique. I see all of y'all up there. I see everybody. Terry. All of y'all. Sharon. I see all of y'all up there. God see y'all too. He see y'all tuning into his word. He see what y'all doing. He see what y'all gonna be blessed. Promise that. His promises are always kept. So, yeah, you should be loving and forgiving and understanding like Jesus was for you. Because if you don't know, you being a Judas right now. You don't even know. Like, if you being mean to people because you don't like them or because the next person don't like them, you're being a Judas. Like, and you know what Judas did? Judas was in front of Jesus' face, smiling in front of him. He was in Jesus' prayer circle. And if you know what the prayer circle is, only 3 people allowed in that prayer circle. Judas was in Jesus' prayer circle, and he went and betrayed them. And if you been, not even like that, but if, I'm going to just make this fun fact. The name Peter means rock, my rock. Peter was given that name after he spoke and said that Jesus was Jesus, the Son of God. And it wasn't because he knew from his own understanding, but it's because God gave him that understanding. Before that, Peter's name was Simon, and he was just of a fisherman. That's how Jesus found him and asked him to follow him and became his disciple. But the day Jesus sat in front of everybody, all his disciples, and asked him, who do you think I am? Who do you say I am? And they all had different answers. Peter is the only person, with him being Simon in the moment, he said, you are the Son of God. And Jesus told Peter, he said, blessed are you, because you didn't know that from your own knowledge, but you knew that because my Father told you so. You want to be like Peter in that moment, in his best. You don't want to be like Peter when he was denying Jesus before the crow crowed. You don't want to be like that. Right. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to be like that. You know, you don't want to be like a Judas every day. You don't want to be like Judas. You don't want to go and, be betraying and dissing God. No, you need to open up to people you don't know, people you hate. You need to learn. Rebuke that demon of hatred. And you need to learn to love that person like Jesus loved you. Because if you feel like they didn't deserve forgiveness, why are you forgiven? Stop judging. You're not the judge. You're not God. And I had to tell myself this, honestly. I tell myself this every single day. I go through a battle every day. If you don't go through a battle every day, you saying you don't go through a battle every day, you're lying. Because you go through a battle every day. Everybody goes through a battle every day, honestly. Just like this coronavirus, the government is only strong because the power that is given to us, we don't want to pick up. We want to do the opposite of what God wants. That's the only reason why he's strong. Because we don't want to pick up that power that God is offering us. It says it right here, Isaiah 3-5. I got it from chapter 35, from verses 3-6. And it says, then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. And it says, say to those with the fearful hearts, be strong. Do not be fearful. Your God will come. He will come with vengeance. With divine retribution, he will come to save you. So when they say he will come with vengeance, like why you should love your enemies and you should love people that you feel like you hate is because when you do that and you genuinely do that with your heart, you don't do nothing but generate positivity in your life. You just allow that positivity to flow through you and flow through you and flow through you more and more and more and more. When you go and you sit there and you rejuvenate nothing but negativity, you allow yourself to be blind. You don't want to see. You allow yourself to be deaf because you don't want to hear. But when you allow yourself to see, then you love those that hurt you. Even when you feel like you want to hate them, you love them, and you rebuke that hate that's in your heart, because it said, say to those with fearful hearts, be strong, do not fear, your God will come. He will come with vengeance. He will come with he will come with divine retribution. He will come to save you. What they mean by divine retribution, and what they mean by come with vengeance, is he's gonna fight for you, so you don't have to bite back when that person bites at you, because they don't know what they do. They don't know what they do, and even if they do know what they do, you don't be like that. You don't be like that. You be like God. You be loving. You be like Jesus. You be loving. You be understanding. Because you understand that whatever is in the works is already done, and whatever is to come is going to come, and it shall pass. That's why when I posted earlier on that side, I said, you better not cry again. You better not cry for the same thing twice. You bet not. Because if you're going to weep tonight, you better know joy is coming in the morning. You better know that. And you better know that not only joy is in the morning, but it's in your everyday routines. And when you want to know what joy is peace. You want to know who Jesus is? He's the Prince of Peace. So if you're going to know Jesus, don't cry about the same thing twice. Cry about it, you pray about it, and I know you probably been praying already, but pray in the right ways. Pray in the right ways, and make sure you keep that armor of God on, so you know how to rebuke that devil when he come into your lane. Pray in the right ways, let that go, and you let God, and you continue on with something more positive, something that's going to better you. You don't need no approval from nobody but God. And I mean, when I say that, I don't mean you just be alone by yourself. No, know who comes in God's name, honestly, because he's going to show you his approval. But know who comes in his name, and know who comes in the opposite name. Honestly. So it says strengthen the weakened hand, and make firm the feeble knees. So basically, give strength to the hands of the weak. So people who feel weak, give strength to them. If you have it, give it to them. Give them the strength that they need. Even if you down and you see a person down too, if you can speak a few positive words to them, it might even make you feel better too while you're doing it. But if you can't speak positive words to them, it could probably really make you feel better, honestly. And people who feel weak in their everyday lifestyle, when you're like this and you show love, it come back to you. You even start feeling it in the making, I'm telling you. Because sometimes when I go on here, my day don't be all good. My day be crazy. But when I get on here and I start talking about God and I start talking about it with you guys, and I just feel it, and it just start making me feel a little bit better. It really do. It says, and this is Isaiah chapter 35, verse 6. It says, the lame will leap like a deer, and those who cannot speak will sing for joy. Springs will gush through in the wilderness, and streams will water the wasteland. It says, and the highway will be there, and it will be called the way of holiness. It will be for those who walks that way. The unclean will not journey on it. The unclean will not journey on it. Wicked fools will not go about on it. So basically what it's saying is, when you do go and accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you'll be set on a certain path. You'll be set. Don't make you perfect. Don't make you better than nobody. No, nothing. It just makes you a part of God. It just lets it be known that you're saved now. So you get set on a certain path. That certain path is going to be called the path of holiness. So anybody who thinks evil or wickedly towards the next person, they're not going to be able to be allowed on that pathway. And I know this too, another problem with me, because I could be like Moses, because Moses couldn't speak like that. And I would get tired up with my words, quick. I would get tired up with my words so fast and would get discouraged. But I have to rebuke that, because God told Moses, just like he told me, is he not the one who give the breath through our lungs and wake us up and give us this power? Is he not the one who give us the words to speak and give us the knowledge to think? Is he not that one? So go along, and he will give us the words to speak when we open our mouth. So here I am, tongue tied and all. Whatever happens, I know that there's some out there who understands me. I know they are. And I know as long as this video is up, there will be more. So when you receive that, then you will see. And it's not because you don't want to, it's because you want to see. And when you receive that, then you will hear. And you're not going to hear physical. It's not going to be like physical. These physical things are blockages. You're going to have faith eyes, faith ears. You're going to see through faith. You're going to hear through faith. So you're going to have an understanding, you know. Hide that word in your heart so you be a sheep. So you be a sheep of the Lord, because his sheep know him. And so he know them, and they follow him. Be his sheep, you know, so that he can send you out into the wilderness, and you can create more people you can lift up more people and bring them back to him. You gotta understand, but if you're gonna do that, you gotta go in war with your weakness, and you gotta fight with the armor of God on. And so it says, finally, this is Ephesians chapter 10. It says, finally be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the powers of this dark world and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything to stand firm. Then with the belt of truth, buckle around your waist with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted firm, with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of evil. Period. So it says, in addition to this, take up the shields of faith, which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of evil ones. Do y'all hear that? That's crazy. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the sword of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions, with all kinds of prayers and requests with this in mind, and be alert. And always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. Also pray for me, that whenever I speak, words may be given, so I will fearlessly make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains. Pray that I may declare it fearlessly as I should. The armor of God is telling you how to pray. What to do when you go to war. It's telling you exactly what to do. So once you do seek the Lord, and you are in salvation, and you do get your eyes back, your faith eyes back, and not your physical eyes, and you can see through faith, and you can hear through faith again, and you learn to hide that word in your heart, and you place the armor of God on, he's showing you how to pray, he's showing you how to get through this, and he's showing you how to fast, and he's showing you how to study, so you can realize when people are placed in your pathway, you can realize if they're coming in his name, or if you're coming in Satan's name. So that's why you are to follow these 10 commandments and understand why when he sent these plagues against his people, when he has this wrath towards you, because that's why he did this to Moses. And that's why he sent Moses the way he sent Moses through, because Moses committed murder in the beginning. So he had to go through the valley, and he had to go through what he went through. And then when he sent Moses to let his people go, and they went through the valley, and they went through that water, and that water drowned them people. That's the best part. When Pharaoh think he's finna go back, but God already got it handled. When your enemy think they finna come back for you, but God already has it handled. That's the best part. What? He gives him the 10 commandments, and he goes down there, and before he can even provide it to them, he breaks the stones. So he asks Moses, with the understanding that he has in his heart, he asks God, he says, punish me and not them for my anger. Punish me and not them. So Moses didn't even get to go into that promised land. And for the Israelites who did worship those idols, they had to go through a punishment before they could even go into the promised land. It was their children's children. And it was a prophet. It was a leader. The leader who took up after Moses, he wasn't even like an adult. He was young. He was young. So like why they have us people like me in our generation speaking, because he's trying to show you how our generation and the Bible is aligning together. How our generation, and this is why our kids need to understand what's going on. This is why the kids need to understand what's going on. Because even in the days of, like, literally, and he, the way he has me written it down on my notebook. He has it with Abel and Cain. If you understand the story of Abel and Cain, okay, Cain came first, Abel came second. Cain got vegetables, Abel got the sheep. Cain felt like he should have got blessed more because he was here first. He was there first. He felt like he should have got blessed more. He should have got everything that Abel got. Abel just was thankful to be a part. See, Cain wanted to be just different and not with everybody else. He wanted to, oh, well, they didn't like it. Oh, well, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be who I am. So what? Somebody going to go along with it. If they don't, so what? That was Cain. Abel was like, I'm a part. I'm one. You got a gift? What? That's good. Like, what? God gave you a gift. I got a gift too. We could work together and maybe our gifts could help them and they can realize they got a gift too. Cain looking like, I don't want to sit with you. Like, I feel like I deserve this and you should get the fruit. So God tells them to place up an offering for him. He blesses Abel's offering, but he does not bless Cain's offering because he wanted the blood sacrifice. Pay attention, because I'm about to show you something. He wanted the blood sacrifice. Cain gave fruits because that's what God blessed him with. Abel gave a sheep because that's what God blessed him with. But Cain did not get blessed. He did not get God's blessing, so he was angry. Continence fell on his face. If you know what continence is, it's emotion, it's anger. It fell on his face, he was angry. So no matter what his mouth said, no matter what came out of his mouth, his emotion showed on his face. His action showed. Abel got blessed because he gave exactly what God ordered. Later, that made Cain rebel. Now, Cain could have went and took his fruit and he could have made a trade. And he could have traded, he gave his fruit to his brother Abel, and his brother Abel could have gave him a sheep, and he could have made an offering up to Jesus, and up to God, and God could have blessed him for that offering. But instead, Cain said, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take these fruits, and I'm going to offer it up to him, and he's going to be happy with it, because this is what I'm going to do. But you didn't get the blessing from God, because you didn't follow the orders. God told you to offer up a blood offering, and you gave him fruit. You were supposed to go and offer up a blood offering. It wasn't nothing to take your best fruits that you were about to offer up to God, and you could have offered them up to Abel, and Abel could have traded. You know, that's just the wild theory for me. He could have traded his fruit over to Abel, and Abel could have gave him a sheep, and he could have offered up his sacrifice, you know, and he could have got the blessing, but he didn't want to do that. He wanted to live on his own understanding, so he didn't get blessed that, which caused rebellion, which caused envy, which caused hatred, and caused Cain to kill his brother. He killed his brother Abel, and his blood was on the ground and crying out to God. God comes down and he asks Cain, where is your brother? He tells him, how should I know? I'm not my brother's keeper. But if you take a village and if we're all in union, then we are each other's keepers. So for him to say that, it wasn't no good for him. God tells him, he says, but I hear your brother blood crying out to me on the ground. So Cain got punished for that. Right next to this, I have the royal wedding. Because, you know, he said, many are called, but if few are chosen. Because, see, we all get called. We all hear the call. We all hear the call. Just like we all got gave the 10 commandments. Just like we all know what happened in the 10 plagues. We all get the call. But do we all answer it? And when we answer, do we all stand firm in that answer? Or do we turn back to our old ways like a dog who returns to its own throw up? Do we stand firm and believe and have faith in it? Or do we continuously cry about the same spilled milk over and over and over and over again, and the milk done already and gone and dried up, and you crying because you don't want to go and refill your cup and keep it at the volume you're demanding to keep it at. You want to go and get in your own way and cry over this spilled milk instead of trusting in the Lord. So it says here in the royal wedding, it says he sent out invitations, right? The king got this feast ready. And he sent out, because it's 2 different weddings going on in the book. Y'all don't even know it's 2 different weddings going on in this Bible. One wedding is going on when Jesus comes down to get his bride, okay? It's 2 different weddings going on in this Bible. Because one wedding is going on, and when the wedding's going on in heaven, it's a war going on earth. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the royal wedding where the king cooked this feast, right? And he invited those who were called and those who were chosen. And they didn't come. They came up with every excuse of why they couldn't come. One of them had to go and count their cows and their sheep, and one of them had to go and count them, and they just had to do everything else in the world. But y'all do know these things in this world gonna be here, but not for long though. They're not gonna be here for long. Just know everything is temporary, including the body. This is just skin. This is just the flesh. It's temporary. God is forever. He's promised eternally. So you will want to learn and accommodate and attend to that before you attend to anything else in this world. Because maybe you should think that because of Him, because of God, this is why you have this new car you're driving. This is why you have this money to go buy, the things that you need to provide for yourself and your family. This is why you're able to have these smarts to go and save in your stocks and do what you need to do to get through your life the way you get through your life and smile through your struggles when you're struggling. Maybe that's God's strength and not yours. Because without God, you don't got no power. So he tells them, he says, and in the wedding, he says, go out. He send the invitations out. And they tell him, no, we have things to do. We can't go. He got all this food. He done cooked all this food. And they don't want to come. So he tell them, go out into the streets and invite everybody, even the sinners. Invite everybody. I want everybody in here to the point where there is not enough space for the people who was invited originally to come. Now I want everybody to come. Everybody to come. So everybody came. Everybody came. You feel me? So many were called. Many were called, But when they came, was they willing to take heed to that call? Were they willing to take heed and take notice to why they were there, what was going on in that task? Were they willing to take heed to that? And now this is where you can say that the align up to that other wedding applies, because once you align up, He gives you a description to follow once you get there. And it's officially, it's people say come as you are, which means don't try to change, don't try to judge, don't try to do nothing that is really God's job. Don't do that. Just come. Just come. Just be obedient and come. Honestly. Because just like when Cain went and offered that fruit and God didn't tell him to offer that, he didn't get the blessing that he wanted. He didn't get that blessing. When God told them to come in a certain way, the guy came and the gal, female or male, whatever you want it to be. When they came, they didn't have on the whites. They had on a different garment. So he asked me, he said, how did you get in here? How did you get here? He like, you don't know me like I know you. Like, he like, how did you get in here? You don't even have on the whites. You don't have on the garments that were ordered to be worn to even get into this ceremony. But yet you're here though. You follow every other but this one. That person got threw out and was weeping and gnashing the teeth. Do you want to be like that? And y'all know y'all could go, and there's so many verses in this Bible, the Holy Bible. It don't matter what translation. It's so many verses in here that will let you know to just be obedient. Just be obedient. Before I got on this live, I had so much fire in me. Like when I tell you, like my body was like warm, like it was so warm, like, and it's just like, ooh, I felt it. I just pressed it. When I tell you, when I pressed it, I felt that it just come through. You just have to do it. You just gotta do it. You really do. I love your lives. This be you giving me some peace. This be God, girl. This be Him coming through me, speaking to you. And what scripture is that where it says, if I cause sickness and take everything away, you will believe in me, or something like that? It's many scriptures like that, but I believe I have one right here, actually. I believe I really have one right here. Matthew's. Let me see. Well, actually, I'm going to go to Exodus. Exodus chapters 8 and 9, because that's what I was on earlier. And it actually tells you that okay. So it actually explains to you why. Because right now, I believe you probably asked that question because while we're going through this, and the reason why all of us is getting sick is because back in the days, this more explains what everybody went through in Exodus. God placed plagues on his people because we didn't want to turn from our ways, basically. We didn't want to turn from what we thought in this world. We were worshiping worldly things. And if I don't know how to say his name, Dr. Sebi, that's why he were doing what he were doing and making the message he was making, trying to show us the right way to do it. And this is why the things of this world and the higher places in this world took him out. Hopefully, I'm going to have to scan through these scriptures because it's a lot, like it's chapters. But it tells you, it explains to you the different plagues. And he sent boils, he sent phantom, like all their calves, everybody, all the calves, anything that had to do with the Egyptians, because those were the people that were not godly. They received it, all the bad things of the plague. So all of their food, which were like their sheep and their cows and their oxen and their ox and all that, they died. They died. The first sons, they died. They received boils. They received all that because you don't have God. You do understand, when you have God in your life, you're completely healthy. Completely. You're completely healthy. Mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, you're healthy. So, I mean, you could go in Exodus. You can go in Matthews, you can go in Isaiah. Those are books filled with scriptures of what to do of why he causes the sickness, where the sickness come from, why the sickness is there, how to get rid of the sickness, and how to be healed from that sickness. You don't need medicine. You don't really need them chemicals. Our body is not made of chemicals. It's not. Our body's energy is electricity. So you need herbs like Adam and Eve. When Adam and Eve was placed here, they didn't have chemicals. They had plants and fruit and water, leaves. That's what they had. And that's what's going on right now too. Like a lot of what's going on right now is division. It as if Christ didn't come down and show y'all how we're supposed to be in unity through the resurrection. As if Christ didn't come down and show y'all how we were supposed to come together through Paul once he became Saul, after he realized that he would forsaken Jesus and went and had to go and take up for the very same Christians that he were once killing. Y'all have to understand that he wasn't even welcome in the temple no more. Not by the Roman soldiers. He was not welcome. And Christ, the followers of Christ weren't welcome in the temple the way they thought they were welcome, because they can go inside, but they couldn't mention Jesus. And little did they know they were about to be a statue placed inside of that temple, which made it an abomination. So the temple becomes the body now. So if you want to be aligned in your flesh, you gotta understand that the body is a temple. So you gotta welcome Jesus and turn away from worldly things, so that your flesh, because you're gonna face temptation every day, you gotta know to keep that armor of God on. And face that and rebuke it and know what to speak to it. If you know what to speak to it, you'll know because you hit the word in your heart. It could get boring sometimes, so you don't have to do it for hours. Like, you really could just go and pray for 5 minutes. Pray and read for 5 minutes, honestly. She said, Priest Nisi, love your hair. Thank you. She said, yeah, there you go. And how did you get into reading the Bible and learning it? I believe in God, but I feel disconnected when I go to church, and I feel like he don't really hear me. And certain stuff I've been going through, I be like, why would God allow this to happen? You know, because he built you for that. Anything that you're going through in your life, you could believe that where you at right now, like, you know exactly where you're going to be, or a little bit of where you're going to be in your future, but you don't even, probably, because I don't even understand what I am fully supposed to be at, but I know that where he has me at is where I need to be. Like, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, a lot of times when we go to church, we're going to church and we're looking for a word. We're searching for a word. We're searching for answers. So when the preacher says something, we're looking for certain answers. Maybe he already gave you your answer, but you're looking for a certain answer. You got to be open to everything that he's saying, and not just, oh, I like what he said at the end of the sentence, because what he said at the end of that sentence applies more to my life than what he said in the beginning. I like what you said towards the end of your conversation, because what you're saying at the end of your conversation applies to me more than what you said in the beginning. But you don't know that you got to go through the whole situation first. You got to go through the whole plank first before you can ever understand what's going on. Honestly, like, because where you at right now and where I'm at right now, people could never understand what it took to get us there, unless they were there with us, unless they took the time to get to study and see why. You get me? How I got into the Bible is because before this, I used to be, how can I say this? I used to lie a lot. I used to deceive people a lot. I used to want to be the face of the wrong things. I used to want to be in crowds. I used to want to be everything. I was stripping. I was stealing from stores and from people. I was fighting people. I was doing everything else. How he's made me now, he had to break me. He had to break me and 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 continue to give me new hearts and continue to give me new mindsets and continue to give me new. So I could know not to just keep being stuck in my old ways. I could know not to control nothing, because I don't have control over anything at all. Like, honestly. And in church, because it's a lot of people out here talking and preaching and evangelism and all this stuff, but you gotta know what is really in God, what is really in His will, what is really meant for you. And sometimes the messages could really be from Him, but that's just not the message for you in that moment. But do take heed to it. Let it change your heart. Not take notes on it and apply it to your life later on in life, because it will come up and you will need it. Maybe your message is like just a regular God loves you, because maybe you felt like you were alone today. So you get on Facebook and you see Jesus loves you. And so you feel apart. Or maybe you were walking down the street and you just got into it with your whole house, or you just lost your money and that's all the money you had, and then you walking down the street and somebody just blessed you with money, or somebody just told you, like, if you don't smile more, like, your smile is beautiful, you have a light in you, and you just left and the whole house was telling you were negative. Like, we don't understand that sometimes, because with God, He don't have a body. We are His body, so He comes through us. He comes through He comes through the technology. He comes through things like that. So you got to be open and stuff like that, you know. And I go through stuff every day, so I try to be on here daily. She says spiritual talks on the daily. I try to be on here daily. She said I get you. It make more sense when you break it down, girl. You need to be doing these spiritual talks on the daily. I try to do them daily. I do. I'm getting there. And this is how His disciples were. This is exactly how His disciples were. People think that they were always just, they agreed to disagree. Like, y'all ever seen the Last Supper, the picture, and how there's somebody over here talking, everybody talking at once. Jesus is the only one sitting there, like, and they got the pictures and they got it saying what they think what everybody think they saying in that picture. Y'all ever thought about that? Because I got the 12 disciples written right here, and I got exactly what I'm telling y'all. Y'all do know that if you got somebody that's always agreeing with you all the time, like, I mean, even when you know you're wrong and they're agreeing with you, that's not okay. Like, it's okay to have somebody disagreeing with you. It's okay, like, because maybe what they disagreeing on probably is right, but you stuck in your ways right now. But it's okay, because you'll get out of it. You can't be closed-minded. Be open-minded. I do. She said, you be on here talking. I do be on here talking. I really be watching. I can relate. I be hoping that a lot of us can relate. And I'm going to have to tell y'all that I'm getting close to the end of my message. I only have a little bit left. So, basically, it's showing you. It don't matter if it was 2 people gathered up in His name, 3 people, 10 people, 12 people gathered up in His name. It's showing you that once 2 are gathered in His name, it's holy grounds. Once 3 is gathered in His name, it's holy grounds. It's showing you once you come together and God comes and He's in it, everything is working for the better. Like, but when you get blessed, something comes responsibility. And what responsibility is something that we don't like. Responsibility. We don't like priority. We don't like that. We really don't. But when you ask for a blessing, when you ask for something, it comes responsibility. You know, it's crazy because anybody on this earth could have got picked to do what Jesus did, but we wasn't perfect. Nobody was perfect. Jesus is in the image of perfection. So when He came down and He did that resurrection, and these disciples that He single-handedly picked to be there with Him, He knew that these same people that He were coming down to walk with and talk with and preach and teach with were going to betray Him and do what they were going to do to Him, and still He was going to do it within His resurrection. And Jesus alone and Jesus before and Jesus after is still the same Jesus. So I don't see why when we go through situations, we become different people and become mean and evil and cold-hearted after the simple fact, because Jesus was still Jesus before. He was still Jesus within and in the present, and he was still Jesus after the fact. He was loving then, before, and after. I don't see why, you know? And it's crazy because Satan knew that. He knew that even when Adam and Eve in the beginning, he didn't approach Adam and Eve together because he knew together in unity, it's not going to happen. Even when Jesus was here and he went away for the 45 days that he did go away to fast and pray, Satan went and tempted him, and Jesus rebuked him because the word was hidden in his heart and he knew better. Because he was one with God. So if you're one with God, when Satan comes and tries to tempt you, you're able to rebuke him, and you don't be like Eve. And you don't bite the apple. Because once you bite the apple, you receive its poison. You are already pure. You already like him. You already like him. You didn't have to listen to what Satan said. That distraction. And you need to understand, like, Satan wants you to believe that you could be greater than. You could be greater than what you are. You're not greater. Like, you are just. Don't you know what God is? He's greater because he is just. Don't you know that you are just? You're not greater than the other. We're all living in sin. And if you're not following them 10 commandments, all 10 of them, every single day, you should not be calling yourself perfect. You should not be telling your nose about the next person. You should not be thinking that you are the judge, because you're not. And he tell you, listen to the judges here. Listen to the servants. Listen to your masters here. Because if you don't obey the masters that are here that he placed in your life, how are you going to learn to obey him when you get to heaven? You gotta listen, learn to take heed. He's not gonna put nothing in your life that he don't want in your life. So basically, we should let situation changes for the worse, regardless. Our heart should stay pure. Some situations that come into your life, it don't change you for the worse, but you feel like they do. As humans, we feel like when something comes, because when we go through life, we like, at a point in time, be like, oh, I'm loving, and I'm glowing, and I'm happy, and, everything is good, and it's like, but you let this one person in your life, or you go, you take on this one task, and it's like everything starts taking down the spiral, down like a spiral. Your life just starts falling apart. Was it in your will, or was it in God's will? Because he's going to show you. And if you pray for something, asking, you shall receive. So if you praying for it, this is what Faith was telling y'all earlier. If y'all have not checked her page, go check on her page, because she's talking about this. If you pray for something, he's going to show you. Yes or no? Yes or no? So if it's yes, you're going to see. And if it's no, you're going to see. Don't fight against it. Do not fight against it, because that's when it's not for the better of you. That's that. Get out of your way. Step aside. Okay? It's a song by Tamala Mann. She said, Lord is willing and he's able. This didn't catch him by surprise. So if you would trust him and just step aside. He said, "Lead still." And you feel me? Don't question him. She said, for these obstacles, they were allowed. Yes, he wants to take you high, high if you hold on. Your Lord is willing and he's able. Y'all know that song, right? If you don't, look it up. It's called Step Aside by Tamala Mann. Don't mind my voice right now, because it's a little scratchy. But y'all got the message. That message basically is saying, if you step aside, then you will understand that everything happens for the best of you, because he built you differently. He built you, and that's what we all have in common, being built differently in the body of Christ. He built you for this. He wouldn't have built you for nothing other than what you're going through in your life. And that message, like me right now, if I hadn't went through anything other than what I went through in my life, I wouldn't be able to be sitting here in front of this camera telling y'all right now. If I didn't know to not think that I'm oh so strong and to go before God, before I go before y'all, to go in front of him and take it to the king, I wouldn't be able to sit here in front of y'all right now. So, and I learned, like, anything that I went through was for the better of me. Because he give you authority. He give you authority. He gives you that authority. When Jesus went down, and he took them keys from the gates, from the gate of death, and he came back up again, and he had that mercy, and he rose again, and he was alive. Y'all do know that's what he did give us that power, right? Like, he gave us that power. And we ain't got to stress. When we go through stuff every day, just pray. Step aside. Pray and step aside. Release that weight and put it onto him. Because when you release that weight and you give it to him, you giving him that open way. You opening that door and you giving him that option to come through and fight for you, because the battle's not yours. That's why it's so tiring. You're tired. You're so tired. You're crying and you spending so many times, so many days, and so many hours alone in the room, not knowing what to do. Don't want to make the wrong move. You open your heart up to God, but then you closing it right up again before you walk out the door. Leave it open. Leave it open so he can fight for you, because this battle not yours. It's his. That's really, really all I have for you, though. This is all I have for all of us, including myself, because as I'm speaking, it's doing something for me. This is all I have, you know. Remember the 10 Commandments. Learn, try to follow them. Like, take one a day. Any way you can do something, any way you learn to teach yourself something, take that same way and use it for this. Because any way you learn that system, you can use that for anything. Use this for the Bible. Use this to get closer to God. Learn that. Because that's really it. Learn that we are living in the Bible days. We always been living in the Bible days, even when it didn't seem like it. Learn that you don't have to be blind. You don't have to be deaf. You can walk and you can see and you can hear and you can speak. Learn that. Understand that. And that's about it. And I'm done, y'all. I'll be back when he put me back here to say what he need me to say for y'all. Y'all have a nice night.